Hey there, my name is Chris Winter. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and welcome to part 1 of my Canon T6 tutorial. Now guys, make sure to subscribe because I'm actually giving away either a Canon 80D or a Sony a6300 to a subscriber. Now guys, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely make sure to check out my brand new list, the top 5 best lenses for the Canon T6. Now I go into a lot of detail explaining which ones would be good for you and why. So if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description box below under this video. But anyway, let's learn about some of the buttons and how to use your Canon T6. So the first thing we're going to do to get up and running on your new T6 is to put the battery in. So it's really easy. All you need to do is pull this lever down, then we're going to put it in this way. Give it a bit of a push, and then it will click in, and you can close that up. And then we can turn the camera on simply by hitting the on-off switch. Now let's take a look at some of the buttons and dials on top of the camera. Now the very first thing that we're going to look at is this dial right here, and what this allows you to do is change the settings that you want to shoot in. Now this green one here is automatic, and that's probably what it will come in. There's nothing wrong with shooting in automatic when you're just getting started. It's quite good to learn how to use the camera without getting too deep into the actual settings. Now if you do want to take it a little bit more serious, you can use a couple of these different settings. We've got program, shutter speed, aperture priority, and also manual. So you can test these out if you want to, but also maybe look up a tutorial on how to use them later on. We've got a couple of other different settings right here. So you've got sports and something for flowers and portraits. They're not too bad, but one thing that you might want to use is this setting down the end here, and that's your video mode. And what that will allow you to do is take videos with your brand new T6. Now another button that you might want to use, especially if you're in lower light, is this button here, which is your flash. And if we press this button here, your flash will pop up and then you'll be able to take photos in the dark. Now, to be totally honest, most of the time when you use a pop-up flash, the results aren't going to be great, but if you are in really low lighting conditions, it can be quite good to use the flash. To simply close it, all you need to do is sit that down. Now, if you ever do need to change any settings, you can use this little scroll wheel right here, and this will allow you to change some different settings. So for instance, right now we're in aperture priority mode. If I scroll this to the right, you can see that it's actually changing the aperture. And that's really quite useful. Now, if we press down the AV button and then also do it, what's actually happening now is our exposure is going up and going down. So if we don't have our finger on that, it's just going to change the aperture. But if we put it on the AV button and then scroll it, we can change another setting. So that's essentially a secondary setting to be able to be changed. Now a button that a lot of people like to use is this button right here. Of course, it's the shutter button, which allows you to take a photo. Now, it also does another thing. If you half press it, so you don't press it all the way down, did you hear that beep? Let's do it again. When you half press it, that's going to allow you to focus, and it will find whatever it wants to be in focus. And once it beeps, you're good to take the photo, and then you do a full press, and you've just taken your very first photo. So always be listening out for that beep, and then full press, and you would have taken your very first photo. So let's now take a look at a few of the buttons on the back of your camera. Now the first button right at the top here is your live view button, and it's also your record button when you're in video mode. So if we hit this when we're in stills mode, you can actually see we get a view of what we're actually taking a photo of. So you can see right here, this is exactly what we're going to be seeing, and this can be really good if you don't want to use the viewfinder. Now if we move over to video mode by going on the mode dial, and then we hit this button, you can see that a little red dots come up right here, and that means we're recording. You can also see with this red flashing light right here. To stop recording, all you need to do is hit the record button. Now we've got the AV button right here. We've also got the trash can button. This has got a few different uses. Like I said before, if you press this down and you turn the scroll wheel, we're actually going to be adjusting our exposure or how bright or dark our image is. And also, if we go to the little playback button right here, then we hit this button, it'll actually allow you to delete your photo. So you can hit set and then delete the photo. Now if we move over to the right here, we've got a display button. And what this allows you to do is have a number of different options on the back of your screen. So if I hit the display button, you can see that we now have nothing on the screen. If I hit it again, we've got a few different settings right here. We've got our aperture, our exposure, and what our ISO is, and our battery. Hit it again, we've got a few more options right here. Once more, and we get a histogram on the back of our screen. We've got another button right here, which is our Q button, and what this is going to allow you to do is change some settings on the fly. So you can change the autofocus mode to face tracking or single point. You can change to continuous shooting or just shooting one shot. You can change your white balance, your picture profile, so if you want to shoot in black and white or in portrait. And you've also got a number of different other settings, like how big you want your photo to be. And that's the Q button. Now another button that you're going to use quite often is the menu button, and you get to the menu simply by hitting that button down the bottom there. Now in the menu you can actually change a lot of different settings, which can be quite a lot of fun and also allow you to really customize your camera. So you can change things like image quality, you can turn your beep on or off. I normally like to have it on unless I need to be very quiet. You can change different things like your picture profile, and you can really dive deep into these and really adjust every different setting. If we go right across here, you can change different things like your video settings, and you can also format your card, which means deleting all the photos on your SD card. Now, be sure that you're ready to do this, because once you've done this, there's no turning back. So only do this if you know that you're happy to delete all the different photos on your SD card. Now we briefly looked at this one before, but this is your playback button down the bottom, and this will allow you to look at the photos that you've taken. Now we haven't taken many good photos just before, just testing this out, but if you use the little D-pad here, you can go left and right, and you can also zoom in. How do you do this? Well, you hit this little button right here. And what that allows you to do is actually zoom in and take a look at your photo and see if it's going to be sharp or not. You can zoom out as well with a button on the left. This is really useful if you want to see, oh, is that a good photo? No, I'm not happy with that one. So what you can do, of course, is hit the delete button, erase, and you're all good. So moving around to the front of the camera right here, we've got our lens, and this is the kit lens that comes with it. This is an 18 to 55mm lens, which means it can go pretty wide and also zoomed in. So if you want to go wide, you go 18 and turn it to the left to go to 55. Now, there's an option on this lens for AF or MF, and what that means is autofocus or manual focus. Now, normally you're going to want to keep it in autofocus, but if you are shooting videos, some people like to shoot in manual focus, so you can flick that switch and then you can actually turn the lens manually. Just make sure that you're in manual focus, because you don't want to actually turn this lens when you're in autofocus. Now, if you ever want to remove the lens, say you want to change it or you want to have a smaller package for traveling, you can press the button down here and then twist it to the left, and then there you go. There is your lens off and you've got your body here. Now, you don't want to leave your lens off for too long, because dust and debris and things can get in here. So down, if you ever want to put it back on, there's white dot to white dot, and you're going to twist it, hear it snap in, and then you're good to go. Now on the side of the camera right here, we've got a few different things that we can actually plug in. So we can open this little flap right here. At the top right here, we have an option for an intervalometer, which will allow you to take a time lapse so you can get some moving images, or you can also have a shutter release in there if you want to do some long exposure shots. In the middle right here, we have a mini USB slot. It should also come with a cable in your box, and this will allow you to connect it to your computer so you can look at your images and also control it. And at the bottom right here, we have a mini USB port, I think, and what this will allow you to do is connect this to your TV. So, and again, this one won't probably come with your camera, but you can get these cables pretty cheaply on places like Amazon. Of course, once you've taken some photos, you'll want to get them off and onto your computer. So again, we're going to open up our battery slot here, and the SD card, which is what you're actually going to use to take the photos, is in the bottom right here. So to take this out, all you need to do is press it down, and then it's going to spring out, and there's your SD card. Now then you can put this into the side of your computer or use a USB card reader, and then you can have a look at your photos. If you want to put it back in, it's going to go in that way. Press it down, and you're good to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that little tutorial. Now I know it can be a little bit daunting using your very first DSLR with all the buttons and settings and things like that. But once you get the hang of it, it can be a lot of fun. Now definitely make sure to subscribe if you want to see some more Canon T6 videos. And also guys, definitely make sure to check out my top 5 list of the best lenses for the Canon T6. I'll put a link in the description box below. Hope you guys have a fantastic day and happy shooting with the Canon T6.